Dillian Whyte says he would knock Anthony Joshua out in a rematch. Well, he should say that, and I expect him to say that. He is in this game to become heavyweight champion. And although he got knocked out by Joshua in their last fight, he actually beat Joshua in the amateurs in their first fight. I'm sure most of you know this. So he needs to keep his confidence high. He needs to believe in himself. He needs to believe in the improvements he's made over the years. So I absolutely like what Dillian Whyte is saying, that he thinks he would knock Anthony Joshua out. According to Eddie Hearn, there is only an 80% chance that Anthony Joshua will fight at Wembley on April 13th. So we'll see what happens with that situation. But if it is Dillian Whyte believes he'll knock Joshua out this time. He said, last time I sat back and waited, I was trying to box and trying to wait for him to get tired. Oh, sorry. This is a quote from Joshua first. All right. It says Joshua here. Maybe this article's got it mixed up and they meant Dillian Whyte. Yeah, sorry. The article here on Boxing Scene has put Joshua's name instead of Dillian Whyte's name. I'm sure it should be Dillian Whyte there. So Dillian Whyte says, it's a good fight, a good champion. Yeah, I believe this time around I'll knock him out because I'll take the fight to him. Last time I sat back and waited, I was trying to box, trying to wait for him to get tired. This time I'll take the fight to him, and I know I've just got to hit him once. I proved that already on 2 separate occasions, and this time I'm in better shape physically. I'm stronger, more boxing IQ, better speed, everything. Yeah, and the 2 separate occasions he's talking about obviously are the 2 fights he's had with Anthony Joshua in the past. The amateur fight in which he dropped Joshua, and the professional fight where he rocked Joshua with his now notorious left hook. I've seen some people who have been a bit upset with me for the recent comments I've made about the potential Anthony Joshua-Dillian Whyte rematch, because I'm not particularly enthused about the fight. I don't think the energy is right for that fight right now, and that's just my personal view. But other people have said, no, come on, Hatman, you know Dillian Whyte has improved. You know it's going to be a tough fight. And no, I don't know that. Stop trying to put words in my mouth. I say what I really feel. I'm not here to pretend that I feel a certain way when I don't. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm telling you how I really feel in my heart and in my mind. And in my mind, I just don't feel like the energy is right for this fight. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that I'm 100% accurate. No, I might be wrong. But the way I feel is like the energy ain't right for this fight. And I'm going to make a separate video on who I'd actually like to see Anthony Joshua fight next. The top 5 in order of who I'd like to see him fight next. But needless to say, Dillian Whyte is not the priority for me in terms of who I'd like to see Joshua fight next. And there are fights for Dillian Whyte that I'd rather see him in than against Joshua. I'd rather see Dillian Whyte fight Wilder, to be honest with you. Because we've already seen Joshua versus Whyte, and we haven't seen Joshua in with a number of the top contenders and obviously the other champion in Deontay Wilder. So those would be priorities to me over a rematch with someone he's already beaten. But be that as it may, if they do fight again on April 13th, of course I expect Dillian Whyte to be better than he was first time around, but I also expect Anthony Joshua to be better than he was first time around. Joshua's improved. I mean, if you go back and look at that first Anthony Joshua-Dillian Whyte fight, there was very little boxing acumen on display from Anthony Joshua. He came out and wanted a street fight with Dillian Whyte, and he was swinging haymakers from the very first round. I have to imagine that, I know Anthony Joshua says that it will be the same time if they fight again, but a lot of stuff is said in bravado. I don't know whether he really means it or not. But what I do know is that Anthony Joshua has improved a hell of a lot since that first fight with Dillian Whyte, technically, in terms of his fitness, in terms of his mental strength, his self-belief. He knows he can do rounds now. He knows he can box conservative if he needs to. He knows he can climb off the canvas and come back and win a fight by knockout. So he has grown so much as a fighter since that first encounter, probably just as much as Dillian Whyte has. And although Joshua, to my knowledge, wasn't carrying any kind of injury in the first fight, I still think he's improved enough to compensate for Dillian Whyte's improvement. In fact, I might even go as far as saying I think Anthony Joshua has improved a bit more than Dillian Whyte has improved. I might go that far. But if you disagree, that's okay. That's the way I feel about the fight. And what chance does Dillian Whyte have of doing what he says in this interview, knocking Anthony Joshua out? He's got the power. I think his left hook has been improving. He hurt Anthony Joshua with a left hook that wasn't thrown with anything like full power. There's no way that he had full leverage and full power on that hook that rocked Joshua. He was on his back foot against the ropes, didn't have all his weight on it, and that was his injured shoulder that he threw the punch with. And I know he said he injured the shoulder in that fight, but it was actually a pre-existing injury that he brought into the fight, to my understanding. So now, if he's hitting AJ with that big left hook, I think there will be even more of an effect if he lands flush in his chin. But the tactics he's talking about using, it, walking forward and attacking AJ, I'm not necessarily sure that that's the best way to go about the job. Maybe I'm wrong, because when he did attack AJ in the first fight, he was having success, right? With the body shots and all that kind of business. But I don't know. I think Dillian Whyte is an underrated counterpuncher, and I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of people look at Dillian Whyte's technique and they think, he's sloppy. But if you look at what he's actually doing, waiting for people to, throw a certain shot and countering. I mean, look at the first round against Derek Chisora. He hurt Chisora with a counter right hand in the first round. And he's been countering people to death with that left hook for his past few fights. So he's an underrated counterpuncher. And if he's going to catch Anthony Joshua, I think that's how he's going to catch him, by countering him. Just like last time, it was a catch and shoot with a left hook. Same kind of thing this time. So I don't think Dillian Whyte should fight too aggressively against AJ. AJ is actually very formidable for most fighters if you attack him. I know Povetkin had some success attacking AJ. Povetkin's a more compact fighter than Dillian Whyte. He's got shorter arms. I think he's more accurate, different kind of fighter. I think if Dillian Whyte comes forward, he's going to leave himself vulnerable to AJ, particularly if he does in the early part of the fight. AJ, for a guy who's big, 6'6", he shortens his punches very well. He throws mean uppercuts and hooks on the inside at close range. You look at Carlos Takam, for example. Takam is somebody who likes to fight up close. But against AJ, he got on his bike and he moved around because he understood that AJ is actually pretty damn lethal up close with the hooks and the uppercuts. And Takam was dropped in that fight. So you found out how lethal he was if he needed any reminder. So yeah, I'm not sure that it's going to be the best idea for Dillian Whyte to attack. I think he'd be better off obviously attacking in spots, but boxing Anthony Joshua a lot. In the first fight, he was almost overwhelmed in the first round by Anthony Joshua's attack. And in a situation like that, yeah, you might have to hold your ground and bang with him to get his respect and stop him coming at you the way that he was. But if it's like a cagey opening round, I don't know whether it's the ideal thing for Dillian Whyte to just go charging in and be hyper aggressive, Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Dillian Whyte against Anthony Joshua, the rematch. Is it a fight that you want to see? Would you be disappointed if it gets announced for April 13th at Wembley? And what chance do you give Dillian Whyte of winning this time around? You think he's improved sufficiently? Do you think AJ will underestimate him? Do you believe AJ when he says he's going to come out all guns blazing just like he did first time around and it's going to be a street fight and not a boxing match? And what are the implications if AJ does decide to fight that way again? Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. It's Satman, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.